So today we're going to be taking a look at what if the United States of America went to war with the rest of North America. We'll be seeing if they could possibly do it and what it would look like. So we're going to have the United States red as they're going to be the aggressor, and then the other countries will be blue as we move on. So first we're going to start down here with the island nation of Cuba. So this is going to be the USA's very first target. And so they're going to go ahead and start to make their landings right here off the coast of Florida. And they're going to go ahead and cut the island in two and easily breeze through, capturing all their important cities in Havana. Eventually, we have the entire country abdicating. So now the United States has regained control over Cuba, but it's not going to start there, as they're going to hop on over to the Dominican Republic and Jamaica, or sorry, not Jamaica, and Haiti. And they're going to go ahead and easily breeze through them one by one. So now we have all those. This is Puerto Rico, so I'll go ahead and cover that. So now they have control of the Caribbean. And so the other countries are going to look on and see that, this probably isn't such a good thing. So we're going to have countries like we're going to have Canada and Mexico start to form an alliance. And soon other countries will follow on, such as Nicaragua and Honduras. But some of these other countries down here, like Panama, they're going to stay um, aligned with the USA. And so now the USA has got a big problem. It's going to be have to fight a war with Canada and Mexico on two fronts. So it'll be pretty hard for them, but I don't think it'll be too much of a challenge for the strongest country in the world. So in the north, they're going to go ahead and make a spearhead up and even out as they try to make their way over to Vancouver to capture that. Meanwhile, two other prongs are going to come up through over here and over here to try and capture all of their important cities. And while that is all happening, they're also going to send a team down to cut off Baja California from the rest of Mexico, and another team that's going to seep down Mexico's side to go ahead and try and capture Mexico City. So, of course, the blue team does have the advantage of they have to fight only the United States, whereas the United States has to fight both of them. So, the United States' progress will be a bit slow, and eventually they will be pushed back a little, but it won't be too much. So now more countries are looking on and saying that perhaps they too could be invaded by the United States. And putting aside their differences, we're going to have all the other Central American countries joining, but Panama is not budging at all. So while this is all going on, Mexico was going to try and free Cuba and the other Caribbean nations by sending uh, a team over to Cuba. And so they're going to slowly make their way. The United States doesn't have that much of a team, but there will be a little bit of a resistance. But they are going to go ahead and slowly push on through and stop there. And they're also going to come on to Haiti and try their best to liberate the island. But meanwhile, we have the USA making moves, with Baja California being completely alone and taken over. So now they only got to focus on mainland Mexico. And back up here, we have the USA reaching Vancouver and taking over this part of Canada. And so it's not looking too good for them. They're about to connect to Alaska, and the Canadians, there's not much they can do. And so slowly but surely, the United States connects with Alaska, and the other prongs over here start to widen out and capture more land and other cities. And now the over here, the capital of Canada, Montreal, is in sights and it's eventually captured. I believe it is somewhere around here. And it's not looking too good for Canada because all of their cities are on the coast, like over here and over here. Because if you did not know, up here, this is all ice and snow. So people aren't really going to be living there. And so everybody lives on the border. Also, because they really want to live in the United States. That was just a joke. But so slowly but surely, the Canadians are being wiped out. Their army, I believe, only has 3,000 troops compared to the United States, close to 1 million. And so it's not looking too good for them. And so eventually, we have Newfoundland being separated from the rest of Canada and completely taken over. And so Canada's thinking, you know what? I think I should start to think about negotiations with the USA. And so from that, they're gonna go ahead and pull out of the war. And so now all the US has to worry about is Mexico. And they'll be able to use their full army as Canada is completely out of the war. So they're gonna have to do a lot of work. They'll be pushing down through Mexico, and the Baja California team is slowly making their way down and closing them off from the rest of the continent. So by now, Mexico's going to pull out everybody else from here, so the U.S. will easily be able to take it all back, and they're going to fortify their front lines like right, right about here where Mexico City is. So USA will be able to breeze through this area pretty quickly until they reach that fortified front line where this is their last stand and all of their troops are there. They're prepared to give their lives to defend their country. But while this is happening, the USA is being pretty sneaky and is using their ally Panama to come in from behind and to sneak up on all the Central American countries. And now they're panicking because USA is just going and they are not stopping. And so Mexico was thinking, should I save myself or help my allies? And they decide to save themselves. As slowly but surely, all of their allies start to fall to the USA. And so now Mexico sees they're all alone. They're being attacked from both sides. And eventually the Yucatan Peninsula is captured by the USA. And now it's just Mexico, this small part of them all alone. And they think, you know what? I think it's time to surrender. And so that is it. So we're going to go ahead and do a peace treaty, of course, and see all the land gains. All right, so taking a look at the peace treaty, we can see that the United States has grown quite a bit. So up here, Canada has shrunken a little, but they are still separating the U.S. from Alaska. And wouldn't you know it, straight lines are pretty hard to draw, but I try to keep it straight, just like how it is now. And we have over here Quebec getting its independence. Down here, we have the USA getting all of Baja California and part of Mexico. As Mexico is now reduced to this small part, it still gets to keep its ocean access, which is good. The USA also gets to have Cuba and all the rest of these Caribbean nations. And down here, Panama, for keeping its allegiance to the USA, is able to get a little bit of land. As for all of these countries over here, they all get new governments that support the USA and will never turn their back on them. And so that's going to be it. So I thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. I really appreciate that. This was a pretty fun video to make. There's so many other scenarios I could do. This was very fun to do. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye.